Oh God, you know, it would have been a really good bit to start with.
What?
Like 97 more days till Halloween.
I googled how many more days it was.
How many is it?
It's 98 more days till Halloween.
Is it actually 97? Was a guess.
It was a guess?
Yeah.
98 more days till Halloween. Halloween. 98 more days till Halloween. Silver Shamrock. Yeah, I googled it to be prepared in case we needed that.
Nice. I would have finished with late in the movies, but it's fine. So we'll start there. As you know, I don't ever start the podcast. That's a good contender for a permanent intro, though, or something along the line. Just it's however long it is from Halloween.
Count it down.
Whenever we record it,
even though we're not really related to Halloween.
No, yeah, I might actually start doing that. But knowing me, I'll only remember one every like 7 episodes. It'll just be like a fun little Easter egg for longtime listeners. Or it won't seem like an Easter egg at all if you listen to every 7th episode. Whatever. I was trying to start the podcast. As you know, I don't know how to. So it'll either be that or something along the lines of Welcome to Late the Movies. My name is Ben Holland. This is a podcast where my friends and I get to fill in our movie blind spots. Each week we'll pick a film that either I or a guest hadn't seen before and really should have by now. This week, continuing Halloween in June, Part 2, July, a month-long look at weird, misunderstood misadventures in horror movie sequels. All the movies we do this month are sequels to movies that we've done the original of. We did Prometheus from the Alien franchise. We did Jason X from the Friday the 13th franchise. We did Wes Craven's New Nightmare from the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. And now, the namesake of the month, the original Halloween in June, I think, is when we did Halloween. Now we're doing Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. The 1984, 82, something like that. 1884. It's 84. Sure, whatever. I'm not going to check it. No, this month, no research. That's my promise. My solemn vow.
We don't need it.
We don't need it.
You just got to act confident. They're not going to look it up either.
To help us turn all these kids into snakes and bugs and whatnot. Left to right across your podcast aisle. We got Ray.
Hi.
We got Greg.
Hey.
No robots this time.
Woohoo.
This would have been a good episode to have robots on.
You'd think.
Been.
Oh my God. Just, yeah, I mean, Craig and Geark could be Irish names. And those Irish automatons, they keep pulling people apart.
Ripping heads off.
It's all very head focused. They're just
skulls.
crushing heads with their bare mechanical hands. I don't know.
Oozing mustard or something?
Oozing mustard. I do like, we can't get into it yet. The doctor, he just gives up his weird, he rolls a 1 on stealth in that sequence, but then he punches the robot and his hand comes out all mustard.
Yes.
And he just stops fighting. And some other robots walk over and just put a hand on his shoulder. And he's just kind of like this the rest of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a great sequence where a robot tries to choke him 5 different times in a 3-minute span,
Yeah.
and he keeps turning his back on it.
Yes.
And then it tries to choke him again.
And every single time it plays the same music too, as the robot jumps back out.
To be honest, though, that's probably how I would have handled myself in a horror movie. I would have punched my hand through a robot and just given up. This is just too much. I can't do anything else. This is the end for me.
Yeah.
So I get it.
Are you texting the studio telling them not to run the commercial? This is a matter of life or death.
Why would they take 2 down and not the 3rd one? I don't understand.
Why would they take any down?
Yeah.
I was surprised when it started working.
Yeah, I was too.
And then the kid turned to another channel and you're like, oh, sure, it's just an ad. They probably send it to a number of channels.
Yes.
And he's like, take that one down too. And he's like, or maybe it's the 80s. I guess maybe there's just one thing in charge of all the channels.
I don't know.
But not that 3rd one. That 3rd one went rogue and killed millions of children.
2 out of 3 is not bad for only 7 minutes of work, right?
Yeah. It's not too bad. And that's, in a blood sacrifice to St. Patrick or something.
That's right.
Is that what it is?
They didn't specify. I assume that sounds correct, though.
All right. Anyway, we can't get into it yet. But before we do, have you guys watched anything good recently?
Yes. I was sad that I'm sitting here doing Halloween 3 Season of the Witch, and other people got to watch Prometheus. So I rewatched Prometheus.
The movie rocks.
I like Prometheus a lot. I know that one is like people didn't love it, but
I'm surprised you watched it without me because I haven't seen it still.
I know
Oh, you'd like it.
you
It's
probably
really
would.
good.
It was because of the traveling in the day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was because of my conference, so I had some time. I watched Alien Covenant too, actually.
You watched it without me the first time too.
Prometheus?
Yeah,
Oh, it was in theaters.
I know. You went to go see it when I was working, and I didn't get to go.
Yeah. This is only I think the second time I've seen Prometheus. I like those movies a lot, actually.
They're really good.
I was not as in on Alien Covenant, honestly. I like Prometheus more.
Robbie's favorite Alien movie.
I know he was telling me like, so I was really hyped to watch that one.
He is alone in that opinion. Not even saying it's a minority. It's
Yeah.
just Robbie.
Yeah, I like Prometheus a lot more.
Though I also like Alien Covenant.
I forgot how much I hate like body horror in general. It's terrible.
There's a great body horror scene in Prometheus.
They're all terrible in that one.
Yeah.
All the body horror. There's a couple things that really creep me out in that one.
You're not really selling it for me.
It's
You
good.
like horror. You'll like it.
As a mother, there's a very specific body horror scene that
Oh,
seems
lovely.
targeted at women.
Perfect.
Yeah. But yeah, I like those a lot. They're obviously a little weird and different. Now it makes me wonder if I want to see the new Alien when it comes out. We'll see.
It's not in the David trilogy that they won't let Ridley Scott finish. David is Michael Fassbender. He plays a robot that makes out with himself in Alien Covenant.
Okay. So I was a little disappointed in that, honestly, because
That they didn't go further.
no, not quite. But the only thing I knew about Alien Covenant is everyone's always like, there's another David and they make out. And I was like, okay. Like that's
He seduces him with recorder lessons,
yes.
and
But
then they mac.
he doesn't make out with him, the other Michael Fassbender. He just like awkwardly kisses him while the other one doesn't want seemingly any part of it. And I don't know. I thought it was gonna be a little more.
Yeah, okay.
You know what I mean?
It's maybe more interesting, but you're right. It's less steamy.
Yes.
Not like the sex scene in this movie.
Oh God.
With if you just picture the man with the largest head. I had like a brick suitcase,
A lollipop of a man.
a lollipop of a man. If you haven't seen the movie, picture failed JV football coach. You're 80% of the way to this guy, and now double his head size.
I expect when they put the mask on him at one point, I expect him to be like, "Oh, it doesn't fit. We're gonna need a custom one."
That's how he gets out of the trap at the end. Like, oh, we can't fit the ropes over this guy's head. I know we should have just wrapped his body, but we made the loop first, and we can't get it over his damn head. Oh, the mask doesn't fit on him. What can we do now? Put the entirety of Stonehenge around his head. You can wear it like fucking Mickey ears. Anyway, the world's ugliest man, 1984, slowly sucks on this 14-year-old's nipples, and it's the worst sex scene I've ever seen in a movie.
It's so bad. Literally, when they go to the motel together,
And she's like, "Where do you want to sleep, Dr. Chessel?" Or whatever his name is. Terrible character name.
terrible.
Dr. Chassel?
I don't know.
Chalice.
Chalice.
Dr. Chalice, but spelled with two L's and an IS. It's not a
Yes.
name.
It's not. Okay, are we ready to get into this movie? Because I
didn't watch anything worthwhile talking about more than this.
Yes, Prometheus, Alien Covenant, both good, worth a watch. I won't get into too much because you just did a whole.
Good movies.
You just did a whole episode on Prometheus. Oh, the one thing I want to say about
90% of that movie is us complaining about Prometheus, and then everyone in the episode's like, at least a 4 out of 5.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. One thing I gotta do Prometheus a little bit of justice. I think I'd mentioned this to you previously, but it has to be on the record. You guys complained a lot in Prometheus about how there wasn't anyone working any of the jobs on the ship. So they had not planned anything out. Everything was poorly planned. There was not enough people to run this operation. They were totally unprepared, which is a valid complaint, I think, except it's very corporate, everything. And all I could think of every time was every time someone high up in any place I've ever worked has given me a job to do, I feel like They don't provide enough people to do the job. They do not plan anything. It's totally unprepared. And it seems like they had no idea what was going on when they made the plan. So it really just is like a perfect fit from the movie. I was like, yes, I can see how this all happened.
Yeah, the Weyland-Yutani Corporation's been around for 100 years, but we really have more of a startup vibe. Everyone wears a lot of hats.
Yes.
The motto here on the ship is, if there's a fire, just grab a fire extinguisher. It doesn't matter whose job it is.
Yeah, we don't need someone for that.
Yeah, no one's
Safety
in charge
officer?
of comms. No one's in charge of monitoring when our people are exploring a dangerous environment and calling for help.
Yeah. We don't need safety procedures. Without spoiling too much for Alien Covenant, I really liked Shaw in Prometheus.
Yeah,
and was disappointed with her role in Alien Covenant.
I think that's fair.
Highly disappointed. So, but I did enjoy the movie still.
Yeah.
I rewatched Grand Budapest.
That's a great movie.
Mm-hmm. Every time I watch it, I'm like, Robbie would love this movie. And I tell Robbie, and he says, I can't watch it because I got to wait for the podcast.
I try to not just be like, this month is going to be another John Carpenter and Wes Anderson situation, and we'll figure out how to get Jim Cameron in there too. We've done more than half of James Cameron's movies at this point, I think. But maybe, I try to not overload it, but who am I kidding? Yeah, we'll just do guys that I keep saying I'll do one day, month.
Guys, I like month.
Anyway.
Okay, we're all itching to do this. Let's talk about this movie.
0 more days till Halloween 3 discussion. It starts now. Let's get into it. That's the best segue I've ever done.
It's really good.
Only makes sense if you've seen the movie or have picked up from context clues the multiple times we've referenced. There's a commercial jingle that happens a million times in the film that's just counting down until Halloween.
A million times.
I have been singing that nonstop in my head since we watched this movie.
5 more days till Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. 5 more days till Halloween, Silver Shamrock.
I hadn't seen this movie before, but I knew all the ins and outs just through cultural osmosis and being on the internet and being interested in horror movies and John Carpenter movies. He only produces this one, but still. How about y'all? You haven't seen this before, right?
No.
Nope. I did know Michael Myers wasn't in it because I had been told that it was the odd duck of the Halloween family.
Yes. The reason it makes sense for this one, not only was it so poorly received and kind of reclaimed since then, it's much like Jason X is the one where Jason's in space. This is the one where Michael Myers isn't in it.
Maybe he's also in space. We don't know.
John Carpenter and Deborah Hill, they both had the idea. Let's make Halloween an anthology series. Michael Myers kind of definitively dies at the end of Halloween 2. Okay, let's move on. Halloween is so general. Maybe, every year, let's give it over to a different filmmaker and do this. And this will be like our meal ticket forever. Deborah Hill and John Carpenter produce them all, but someone else will make them and write them.
Bold choice. I think
it could have been cool.
In theory, it's a cool idea.
Yeah.
I like it better than the 1,000 Michael Myers movies there are.
Maybe it's in hindsight when we're looking at all these wicked long franchises where you're like, wow, like an anthology series would have been a better way to go because they get so stale. But yeah, obviously that's hindsight when there's fucking 15 of every horror movie in a series.
Carpenter, a noted fan of horror anthology, has been a part of a couple different horror anthology shows. Body Bags, I think, is one. Cigarette Burns, the other one. So this feels like his attempt to make this into a modern version of a sort of classic format where, it's, Tales from the Crypt or whatever. It's anthology, but on a bigger budget, and they'll put these out and they'll be like big movies. And people hated this so much they had to bring Michael Myers back like 6 years after this one came out.
Yeah, okay, I can see it.
Yeah, people really hated this one. Should we even do a 1-minute plot summary?
I'll do one.
Yeah, go for it.
I can do it pretty quick, I bet.
Yeah, go for it. Michael Myers isn't here.
And Michael Myers is not here. It's like 8 days till Halloween. There's creepy people in black gloves hunting some guy down. The doctor watches him get killed and goes off with that guy's daughter to figure out what happened to him. They follow to the factory that the only Halloween masks anyone buys comes from. It's very Irish. It turns out that those guys with the black gloves are all robots. and the owner of the factory put parts of Stonehenge in the masks. And when you listen to their TV jingle they're going to air on Halloween, if you're wearing the mask, which every child is, they turn into bugs and snakes. That's all the explanation you get of that. He has to stop it, and he fights the robots, and it seemingly he does not manage to stop it, because how do you stop a commercial? I guess you call. That's what he tries. It almost works. And it just ends with the jingle going on the TV.
I came away from this one with a couple questions.
Just a couple?
Just a couple. One for you, as parents of young children.
Mm-hmm. I'd prefer the bugs and snakes. Yes.
Are masks a big deal? Because it doesn't seem like there's any Irish magic involved in getting the kids to really want the masks. It's just more of like it's trendy to want these masks, but it feels like
it's good marketing, I guess.
Masks are not a thing. Commercials are, though. You fucking throw a commercial on, kids are like, that right there, I need whatever that is fucking on TV.
There's probably something comparable, like the year that like every girl was Elsa, right? Like,
yeah, I was thinking like it feels like masks are a weird choice, but I'm also thinking like the dumb things that were trends when I was a kid. You wouldn't necessarily in a vacuum think that makes sense for kids, but it's marketing.
It's all about
that does
marketing.
it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, especially because
they
got the jingle that plays like every 5 seconds, and they're advertising that like they're gonna do a giveaway on Halloween if you're wearing the mask. So like, obviously the kids are gonna be like,
that's fair.
Buy me this mask.
But that is the giveaways.
They only make
I like.
3 masks.
Yeah.
It's weird because there's a lot of other masks in the background of some scenes, but kids are only getting skeleton, pumpkin, or witch.
That's it.
Those are the big 3.
Yeah, I think that's all they produce, it seems like.
It seems like it's all they produce, but there's some shots in the background where there's some other masks.
In the factory?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Maybe those are a different year.
Anyway, there's I think it would have been, there's like probably an opportunity once they get to the Irish crime town that makes the death masks. I think there's a fun opportunity back when like early YouTube was just like splicing things with like different music to make the tone different. And like now it's Harry Potter's a love story about Ron and Harry.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I think there's a way to intercut all the Irish nonsense in this with like The Departed to make it like a hardened crime film.
Yeah.
Just about like Irish gangsters.
I could see it.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah, this film is anti-Irish propaganda, and I wasn't prepared for that.
That was as soon as it starts and
the whole town's in on it. The whole town of San Mira.
Yeah, this movie in the first like 5 minutes introduces Stonehenge has been stolen.
So that's actually where I do want to start. Is there's a lot of times you'll watch a horror movie and right at the beginning, the character will be watching something on TV about like, the cliched one is, madman's escaped from the asylum off the highway, up the street or whatever. And it's a guy at a gas station's watching it on TV. And then you see somebody run into the gas station or like, oh, well, that's the killer or whatever. Mm-hmm. But in this, the guy at the gas station on the side of the highway is watching a news report on how Stonehenge has been stolen. And you're not thinking to yourself, oh, that's the killer. But it was.
It's Stonehenge running up the street.
Yeah. There's a news report on something escaped and like, and in this slasher, that's obviously the killer. And in this case, it's true. It is Stonehenge that is going to kill all these kids.
Yeah. So I didn't realize that's true. I knew immediately. I was
Stonehenge,
like, well, this is
famously not in Ireland.
That is true.
Can I just say how
it's like a pagan thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know what the fuck's going on.
One of the things I really actually love about this movie is how little they explain about anything. I
do
love
like
it.
that.
I love it.
It's weird. So the music is still made in part by John Carpenter, and there's also his touch on the production side, but it's written and directed by Tommy Lee Wallace, who worked on other Carpenter movies, edited the first Halloween, edited The Fog. And it's shot by Dean Cundy, who works on not only a lot of John Carpenter movies, but also Jurassic motherfucking Park.
Yep.
And every other time we've done one of his movies, we called him out too. So it feels like a Carpenter movie, and there's such a weird dissonance in my head because it feels like They Live. it feels like In the Mouth of Madness in a lot of ways. And it's just not as good.
No.
Specifically those two. It feels like They Live and it feels like In the Mouth of Madness to a kind of crazy extent. Even just like the plotting and what's going on. But it's just an old guy who you just throw some buttons at, and they were like, oh, we didn't think of what if we're near the buttons when this happens. And he just looks at him and just slow claps and accepts his doom. And it's like, I don't know, leave the room.
No.
Hide behind one thing.
Ray definitely asked at one point.
He had 45 seconds to get out of that room.
Ray definitely asked me at one point, so I'm like, so wait, why can Stonehenge do all this? And I went, you haven't been paying attention because magic.
How has this not happened before?
I also really love how he was like, yeah, that's Stonehenge. You wouldn't believe how we got it here. And then they never explain it. I'm like, yes.
I thought that was like a joke, honestly. I was like, that's kind of really funny.
It's really funny.
All of the Carpenter referencing to say, I like that they don't explain it. Like in Prince of Darkness, they don't explain why Satan's a green tube in the basement of a rec center / church. But it's fine. It makes sense. They don't have to explain it. Why is Michael Myers crazy? Why is he following Laurie Strode? No one knows. It doesn't matter. That's what makes it scary.
I really need to know where Stonehenge got its powers from.
It's a valid question.
We were just talking about him.
Where did Stonehenge get its powers?
From St. Patrick.
It wasn't St. Patrick.
Yeah.
It was.
Anyway.
So his motivation was just to kill people because it's fun?
Michael Myers?
No.
Or Stonehenge?
The Stonehenge man.
Yeah, Cochran.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was a blood sacrifice.
Yes.
He explains in his evil monologue that is impossible to follow.
Yes.
Impossible to follow. Back in the day, we used to have to do a thing, and there had to be a blood sacrifice for reasons. And the only reason I know it's a blood sacrifice is I think the doctor's like, are you talking about a blood sacrifice? And he's like, yes, thank you for saying so.
Yes.
Yes, but
And that's what this is too? Because there's like a Confluence of the Spheres event happening that night.
Yes. Well,
And the world's going
too.
to change.
It was not very clear, but he definitely starts off by saying something like, well, I like to play jokes.
Yeah.
Listen,
okay,
you know I'm basically the Joker.
Yeah, I like to play tricks and jokes. And he's like, and yeah, you have to do it. It's important.
When we were sitting in our wattle huts on the banks of the river, and it was like on Halloween night, the ghouls were there too, because there was such a thin boundary between worlds.
Yes.
Tonight's a night like that. The world's going to change forever. But I do just think, generally, I think this is very funny. I'm getting a lot out of this on that level. And also Irish revenge.
See, that's what I understood was, yes, it was just because. He's like, we used to do this. Let's bring it back. Because it didn't seem like he was getting anything out of it, right? Like
Irish revenge?
Maybe.
And the blood sacrifice is fueling some Gaelic deity.
I was like, this is like a sacrifice to deities or something.
Yeah, but it wasn't going to benefit him in any way.
Just as a proud Irish Catholic.
He gets like teleported into another dimension or something, I think.
He gets turned into like a bunch of dried toothpaste.
He just disappears.
Yeah,
and then he disappears.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The other part of it that I also think is good Carpenter vibes is just the sort of like, our hero's doing stuff, but you get the sense as it's happening, and then eventually it's confirmed to you. By the time our hero knew enough to be involved, it was too late, which I like. I like movies like that. John Carpenter has a lot of them where it's just like, oh, yeah, they're going to lose in the end, and there's nothing they can do about it. And in the fact, by the time they found out there was something that someone should do something about, it was way too late. I do like movies like that.
Pretty early was like, this movie's going to end with all these kids dying.
And I think it does.
I think it does. But this movie in the first 5 minutes, not only has Stonehenge been stolen, but there's these weird black glove people chasing people down. There's a lot going on in this movie.
I'm looking at these guys. I'm like, oh no, these Agent Smith types all look pretty Irish. What's going on here? My discriminatometer was going off.
And while all this is, they also introduced the commercial in the first like 5 minutes. I'm like, well, this is going to be relevant. And I'm immediately confused that it's very Irish, whoever's making these Halloween things.
Yes, that was confusing. Yeah. And
They could have been Scottish
I guess they could have
because
been.
of Stonehenge.
Well, no, silver.
It's a shamrock.
Shamrock, Irish.
Silver golf club. What else does Scotland have? Silver shortbread. You don't even have to change that many lyrics or syllables.
The first death scene.
Yes.
Awesome.
The guy that gets his like nose pushed through his brain
Nope.
or something, because that was crazy.
That was crazy.
That
Nope.
was we're talking about when he pulls the block under the car wheel so that it just slowly rolls backwards and it like squishes that guy and he does like a kind of like pop looking thing and then just like tips over. And at the time I was like, what just happened? Why is this guy dead? Like he
The
didn't
car
even,
rolled so slowly.
Why didn't he move? There's,
looking
like,
back, he died
Michael
very robotically.
Yeah.
He did, yeah.
Yeah.
It was a hint. It was kind of like Michael McDonald from Mad TV, who's like the henchman that won't get out of the way of the paver thing in all the first Austin Powers. That just
Yeah.
really slowly.
Me and Ray, literally, as the car was like slowly moving, we immediately both went, the Prius is silent if you keep it under 5 miles an hour. From The Office when Andy runs somebody over by going really slow in his Prius.
Maybe that's why I was so confused that he died, because I pictured it to be like the Office scene where Dwight just gets kind of pinned between the car and the bush and is just like yelling at him. I feel like you shouldn't die if you get hit by a car that slowly.
It just looked so funny.
His servos got popped.
Yeah.
While I don't want to get too bogged down in the plot of any movie we ever do, there's a lot of funny shit that happens in this one.
There is.
Our hero's introduced as a guy that works at the hospital that the dude who kills the first robot is taken to. A robot comes in, absolutely pops his shit apart.
I think he just like rips they said part of his front of his skull off. It was crazy.
It looked like he grabs his nose.
Yes. But
And
he
then,
goes
like,
in through the
pushes-
eye.
and then kind of like pushes it up and like through his eye sockets, and just sort of like collapses the front of his skull.
Yeah. He like sticks his fingers into his eyeballs. And
Yes,
like,
and then he
just-
like pulls out, I think.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's what happens.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It was
Bad way to
nasty.
go.
Not good.
Turns out that guy was a toy maker or a toy seller, really,
Yeah, he just had a little shop.
with smoking hot, way too young for this guy daughter.
Yeah, they also
It's 84. The movie thinks she's smoking hot,
yes.
should say.
I was a little
I
honestly
mean, I'm not meaning to throw.
least favorite part of
it's
this
not
whole
my
movie
words. Is this lady?
is not this lady, is the relationship.
The relationship's
As
not
soon as
good.
they show up
It's
at the motel,
unpleasant.
and I was like, they're not gonna like get like this is a very old looking doctor, dude. And she is very, very young. And I was like, why would she have any interest in this dude whatsoever? And immediately they're just immediately banging. And then the second time they're also banging, he's like, wait a second, how old are you? And we're like, what the fuck is happening?
You waited way too long to ask
Don't
that
worry,
question.
I'm old enough, or whatever she says. I don't know. That's like
Oh,
maybe her last line in the
I forgot
movie.
my
Younger than I
ID.
look, or no,
Yeah.
I'm older than I look.
I'm older than I look. And we're like, yeah, you better be.
Yeah.
Honestly, that feels like a thing that the actor of the old guy was like, can we have a line in here where she says she's older than she looks? Because I don't want people seeing this movie otherwise.
You know, I was like so convinced that she was way too young and he was way too old. I didn't expect anything. And like when they went to the hotel room together, I was just like, oh, okay, they're like a, you know, a
And she
detective
initiates
pair
it.
here.
Buddy cop.
Because he's
Yeah.
like, oh, I guess I'll sleep out in the car, better than sleeping on the floor. And she's like, where do you want to sleep, doctor?
Yeah, there's
And he's
Even
like,
when she said-
don't be stupid or whatever. And then just immediately they're making out.
Even when she said that, I was like, that's not gonna. This isn't gonna happen, right? This isn't gonna happen, and,
and
it
it happens
did.
fast.
Yeah,
It
he
did.
should have turned her down. I need
Yeah.
to know. I said no research, and that's still my promise. But this is important. I need to know what their respective ages were.
That's it. That is important.
I mean,
There's no way that guy's still alive, so I can't just look up what age they are now and then subtract.
People in the 80s just looked a lot older than they were, though, right? So maybe he was really not that
Yeah,
old.
this is also old Roger Moore as Bond, like having sex with ladies also.
Yeah.
That's Tom Atkins, by the way. He's pretty prominent. He's in a bunch of stuff. Tom Atkins is still alive.
Whoops.
Apologies to Tom Atkins, I guess. He doesn't have a birth date on Wikipedia.
Is he a robot?
What?
They don't even have a guess. He's been active since 1963. That lady wasn't alive, for sure. Anyway, Tom Atkins from The Fog and Escape from New York before this. Yeah, we'd like Tom Atkins. I like Tom Atkins fine. He just looks so fucking old in this movie.
They also don't have an age for the lady either.
This is infuriating.
Because they're ashamed.
Oh my God. Okay, maybe she is older than she looks. Apparently the film Manhattan by Woody Allen was based on her relationship with Woody Allen. She met him when she was 16 on the set of Annie Hall. This is more than I've ever wanted to talk about Woody Allen on this podcast. Anyway, she's also Jewish. That's all Wikipedia has for us. This is so frustrating. This is what I get for breaking my promise of not doing.
Oh, I found it. He was born November 13th, 1935.
So he was like 47?
Oh, wow. He doesn't look under 50 here.
No, he looks older than that.
47 is still pretty old.
It's pretty old, yeah.
I mean, not like as a human, but like to be banging that girl.
Yeah. Stacey Nelkin is 64 now. So born in 59. That's 82. So she's 23.
23 and 47.
That's what it looks like.
That's what it looks like, yeah.
Yeah, okay. I'm glad that we clarified it is what it looks like.
Yes. So him being like, wait, how old are you? Is because he's legit like, oh, wait, is this chick like 15? He asked that because he's legit worried, like, oh, shit, am I going to jail?
He should.
I mean, she could definitely be his daughter.
He has children. They're like 8.
Yeah, he doesn't care much about him.
He does not care much about those children. He's making a lot of excuses. I noticed.
Yeah. 2 people died here tonight, which is a stupid thing to say if you work at a hospital without more context. Not there was a murder-suicide here tonight is probably more to the point.
Yeah, I don't understand why he didn't just explain that.
Well, she would not stop talking. She wouldn't let him get a word in. But but the words he got in, he used poorly.
Did you notice they had to like constantly put up little bottom text explaining like what the time is now in comparison to what it was? Like when the guy shows up at the hospital, it says like 1 hour later. And I was like, I could have figured this out that this was like not right this second. And then every day it's like, this is what the date is now.
It's always such like a weird interval of time.
It's also belies a lack of trust in your audience considering
the song.
Considering the theme the theme song that plays every couple minutes that tells you exactly how far it's been.
That's exactly
in
my
linear
thought. Like,
time.
why do you have to keep telling me now it's the 25th, now it's the 28th?
I
Now
imagine
it's the
that was
30th.
for like dramatic effect.
Yeah, but
Right.
just play the song. You're going to play it
know.
anyway.
I
You
know,
start
just
every
play
day by
the
playing the
song.
It would have been a lot cooler if the only like times that are said are like, oh, it's been another day. He's running out of time to unclear what he can really do, but he's running out of time to do it.
Yeah, we didn't even know what was going to happen. They don't.
When does he figure out what's going to happen?
It's not until he shows them the kid to get turned into
yeah.
bugs.
Oh, right. Yeah. He does. He never. He's got nothing. Oh, they're going to leave. They're about to leave.
Yeah, they literally had no idea what was going on. They thought this was just like thought they were going to figure out who murdered the dad.
Right. That's why they're there in the first place.
Yes, they do not think it's some greater conspiracy that there's
But
every.
they basically get spooked, and she's like, I just want to leave. And he's like, yeah, let's just go.
Mhm.
Yes.
And then she's like, let's stick around. Like, oh, okay.
No, they start packing up, right?
They start packing up, but
They're gonna
as they're leaving, they talk to that other family, and then they're inside. And then the old Irish guy's
Oh,
like,
oh.
oh, yeah, let's invite them on the tour too. And then she's like, yeah, let's go on the tour.
So that's twice that we're talking about two different times.
They're gonna leave again, and then the robots attack.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
And that's what causes all the problems. That's when they're like, fuck it, let's just go. This is messed up. But the robots attack.
Theoretically, we never see her again.
Right.
Yes, that's it. But back on topic.
This guy's so ugly.
Yes. But
I've seen him in other movies and he's not this ugly. I think they gave his head HGH before they filmed.
Were they trying to make us think that his head was a mask?
Wait a minute, and then they like pull his head open at the end and he's like, it's also just gears and or bugs in there.
It's just bugs.
Joke's on you. I don't need this to choke you. And then he chokes the old Irish guy. Turns out everyone's a robot and or filled with bugs.
Okay, now when he decides he's going to kill his best salespeople, and he locks them in the room.
This guy's made his millions of dollars and is really good at what he does and doesn't ask for anything.
Mm-hmm. And what he does is send our masks to all the kids that this was really important for our mission. The whole time the song started to play, and I'm like, what is happening? Like, what is about to happen here?
Did you think that kid was going to go straight Oogie Boogie?
Never in a million years would I have guessed the kid was going to go straight Oogie Boogie. Never. So, congrats, I guess. They got me.
Congrats. The other kills in the movie haven't really implied that this was on its way.
No, there was no implication that this was on the table at all. Especially the two things Stonehenge can do, if there's a shard of it, is it can turn your whole body into bugs and snakes, or it shoots a high-powered laser beam.
Yes, but one bug came out of her, remember?
Oh, one bug did come out of her.
One bug.
Bugs eventually. Good puppet. Whoever did the modeling on that lady's face after she gets laser beamed.
Yeah.
Oh, actually,
That shit's good.
Good stuff.
It's good stuff.
I mentioned this to Ray, but I think pretty early. I don't know if it was. I think it was a couple times. I think it's when they're in like the dad's shop, and then again when they're in the gas station in the beginning.
Yeah.
I looked and I was like, this looks really nice. Like, it's all real. And I was like, it's unusual because most things in movies are fake now. And the fact that just all the things on the shelves and stuff, I'm like, that's a thing on that shelf. Like, I can tell for sure that is an actual thing on that shelf. And I was like, this is like kind of nice.
They made a bunch of masks for this movie. They exist somewhere.
Yeah. It's just kind of cool like that. There's like, everything is made for the movie. I don't know. I know they don't really do that anymore.
Yeah. It's good.
The camera was like on the outside of a window at one point. And I was like, that camera's actually on the other side of that window, I think. Like, and that's an actual, like, that's a building.
No, it looks good. I like how it looks. It's got this sort of conspiracy thriller look to it that they're sort of aping, and then it just kids' heads turn into bugs.
Yeah, I think one of the big problems.
You're right, though. That's like, okay, if you're wearing a mask that those buttons are on, bug face. If the buttons are near you, or some piece of Stonehenge is near you when that song plays, you get fucking laser beamed.
Instead, it shoots a laser beam.
If you get enough laser beam directly from Stonehenge, you turn into, I think, a pillar of salt is what they're going for.
Mm-hmm.
I think it goes biblical, and then he disappears. But he's smiling?
Mm-hmm. Those are the three options.
What the fuck?
I love it. It's just nonsense. It's great.
It is. And like, honestly,
maybe it is a pillar of salt. What are they trying to say?
The fact that all that total nonsense didn't really bother me. That's fine.
It doesn't bother me either. I just didn't want them to pick on the Irish so much.
They pick on the Irish a lot. I think the other problem with it is it's not scary at all. Like, not remotely.
No, it's sci-fi. With like a couple kills.
It's sci-fi, but with like deaths. But like you said, the puppetry and stuff. It's like horror movie stuff.
Yeah,
mixed in.
It's called Season of the Witch. There's no witches. The Irish are accused of witchcraft at one point.
Yes, that's the only mention of witches, and besides the witch masks, I noticed. I was waiting. But yeah, it loses like the whole vibe they had going for the other ones was like, this can happen to anyone, right? This is not a concern of mine in any sense.
Yeah, it's not that grounded in this one.
Yes, the whole like random slasher in a nice neighborhood who like this can happen to anyone really goes out the window when it's like, I don't know, weird magical piece of Stonehenge masks turning kids to bugs. Like I said, I'd prefer the bugs and snakes to my kids. I'm not concerned about this at all.
Maybe this is a bigger message about like the people putting razor blades in Halloween candy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Do we know what happens to Buddy? Because he's in a room with a few snakes. Do they kill him?
The snakes attack him at one point. I don't.
But
The
he could
mom's
just-
okay though.
The mom faints, but then spiders crawl on her, and I think Buddy does like fall over.
He gets bitten by a snake for sure.
Yeah. A snake latches onto his trousers
Yes.
for sure. But he could just have avoided those snakes, I think,
No.
better.
Also, they didn't check on the kid.
No, he's mostly still corporeal.
Yeah, I think his face is gone.
His
but
face is bugs.
You couldn't
at
really
this
tell
point.
though. Like I probably would have like checked to make sure there wasn't a face anymore. Like maybe there's just bugs in the mask. Like I don't know. I think that's the more reasonable thought, right?
I'll be honest, there's been points at which I've been second screening a couple of these movies this month, and it hadn't occurred to me, what happens to that family? Because they shouldn't all have, even if they all died, I don't think they all disappeared in that room.
No.
Something happened.
Yeah. Cochran didn't seem like he had a lot of planning beyond turn all the kids into bugs.
One thing I will say, they do, I think, make the point. At one point, I think it's supposed to be an ironic joke that the mom makes in response to Buddy, who's the salesman, saying, like, it's weird, they won't take any of my orders. It's like, I like to get ahead of things. And she's like, maybe they're just not planning to do a Halloween next year.
Mm-hmm.
And so I do think the implication is that everything's been leading up to this like confluence event, and they're not planning to exist as a company after this night because everything's going to be different in the morning or whatever.
That's
Yeah,
my
that's
plan.
what I
my
got,
thought
yeah.
too was like, there's no November.
So I guess
1st plans.
that's why they don't care that they're killing the guy who's done the best at distributing the masks.
Yes, I think that I think that's implied that.
So at least they've done a little bit of paperwork there, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Congrats, movie. That's one thing that isn't a plot hole.
Yes.
How does the jingle activate the Stonehenge?
And why hasn't it happened before?
How did they figure this out?
How did they figure this out is a good one. Yeah, I don't need to know where Stonehenge got its powers at Stonehenge. But did someone just happen to be doing that melody and they saw Stonehenge start to glow and they're like, wait a minute.
It shot a laser beam off.
Yeah,
They're
whoa.
like, sick. I bet you I could use this to turn kids into bugs.
Did they test other jingles? Did it have to be about Halloween?
Yeah, does it have to be London Bridge? Does the Fergie song London Bridge work?
A lot of unanswered questions here.
A lot of unanswered
Does the
questions.
pumpkin have anything to do with it, or is it just the music?
The flashing pumpkin, it seems like it's relevant, but I'm
It
not
seems
really sure.
relevant. It seems relevant. They're like, watch the flashing pumpkin. And it starts flashing faster, and the music starts getting more intense and louder and faster, I think.
I would have been concerned as a parent when the silver shamrock trucks started driving around Halloween night with the speakers telling all the kids to go home and watch TV.
Well, they didn't have the internet. That's how they advertised back then.
That doesn't seem right.
I'm going to be honest, my
You
brain.
can't tell me I'm wrong.
I can't confirm or deny that, though.
I feel like you guys just had a good bit. My brain is 99% occupied with
Bugs?
transposing X amount more days till Halloween Silver Shamrock to Fergie's London Bridge.
That's fair.
28 more days to Halloween. 8 more days till Halloween. Like Silver Shamrock. Silver Shamrock.
Also, so the girl,
I'm more tired than I realized, and I apologize.
the girl who I cannot remember her name,
Ellie.
Ellie,
Grimsbridge.
gets replaced with a
Is
robot.
that right?
I think so.
Okay.
Gets replaced with a robot, but then robot Ellie lets him just like destroy everything.
She couldn't blow her robot cover.
Why didn't she just murder him?
It's funny. There is a point when they got into the car after that when I was like, they did not give this actress any lines in the last 30 minutes of this movie. It's like, oh yeah, turns out she's a robot, but I don't know. It has never seemed necessary that the robots couldn't talk.
Yeah. The robot, him fighting her in the end, where she just keeps attacking him and he just keeps not doing anything about it. And
It's
it
so
keeps playing
funny.
the music. It was really
Yeah.
funny.
Is
I
it
don't
an
think it's
o-
supposed to be.
Is it an homage to, like, at this point, people have made fun of, like, Laurie Strode never just kills Michael Myers, never just chops his head off, never keeps leaving the knife near his body and leaving the room and taking her eyes off him.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy was just like, it was 1-to-1. This scene could be in a scary movie.
Yes.
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 Don't even change the music because it's funny the way it is.
Yes.
It really is.
Dude, just push the robot down a fucking hill or something. I don't know, man.
Just leave.
Just also, then the funniest part was that he's like, after the 5th time that this robot tries to choke him, and he's like, well, being in this area isn't working. I love that he just runs into the woods. He just runs directly
just
into the
runs.
woods. It turns out he knows where he's going because he ends up at that gas station pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But as the viewer, he's just been attacked while driving, kind of like skidded off the road for a while. Didn't get that far. He's still near the road and just chooses to run in a direction into dark woods. And it's so funny.
It's really funny.
It's the perfect punchline to that scene.
Yes. A lot of this movie was funny. I just don't think it was really supposed to be, though.
No, I should say I really liked this movie.
Did you?
Yeah, that was great. I love when he does his stealth. He completely botches his stealth role, as I joked before, but he really does. He walks into this place, makes direct eye contact with no fewer than 6 security cameras
Yes.
He
for
does.
no less than a full minute each. And then just sort of walks into a room where there's an obvious robot lady, immediately rips her head off, shakes her, demands questions, just is screaming at her immediately when he's been trying to be sneaky. He's bad at it, but he thinks he's being sneaky.
Mm-hmm.
A robot pops up behind him and, like a Scooby-Doo, like, you know, haunted house move, pulls him like backwards into a shadow, and he goes like, whoa. Tries to fight a robot, can't. All of a sudden can, kills a robot. His hand gets all honey mustard on it,
Mm-hmm.
and he just stops fighting.
Yeah, he just stops after that.
And
Too
sort
much
of
honey
like,
mustard.
he acts like he's like, maybe he had a script where it says like, oh, the robot lets out some kind of gas that makes you half sedated,
Yeah.
because he doesn't even respond.
No.
And he sort of looks like zonked out, and they're just sort of like pushing him along as the evil guy's monologuing in like 6 different locations.
He's got a lot of monologue.
Each monologue less
coherent.
coherent than the last. Has a couple great laugh lines like, you're never going to believe how we got Stonehenge here.
It's great.
That was really funny. That had to be intentionally funny.
But when he tries to get serious to this this doctor that is like, he's not out of shape, but his head alone has like 80 pounds of fat. And it's all vertical. It's not like he has a wide head.
No, he actually has like a short head. Right? No, I don't know. Something's
It's just like he's got a fucking Easter Island statue on his shoulders.
No, his facial proportions are not correct. I think his forehead's too short, right?
Yeah. His eyes, nose, mouth, 7 feet long.
I gotta look it up. Oh no, he does have a large forehead.
I mean, his forehead is the size of anyone else's entire head, but it is proportional to the rest of his features.
The proportions are just wrong, and I'm not sure why, but it's just not correct. He does have weird teeth. The mustache doesn't help.
I do not like the mustache either.
I've seen a lot of other movies with this guy in them, and I like him in them, and he doesn't look like this in them, I don't think.
The hair, there's something wrong with it. I don't know. The hair?
Yeah, I think I don't know what it is, man. The mustache and the hair, it's just all accentuating his worst features.
Yeah. He's got a weird hairdo. I think that's part of the problem. It's got this weird swoop. It's doing bad stuff for him.
Yeah. It's the haircut every one of your uncles had in the 90s. And
Yeah.
It's not good.
With the mustache.
I mean, he just looks like he's kidnapping this lady the whole film.
Yeah.
Yes, for sure. Now, this movie was not well received, right?
Extremely poorly received. Did not make a lot of money.
You said it was sort of reclaimed. Do people like it now?
Yeah, I think just because it's doing some stuff. It's making some choices. It looks real. It is shot by Dean Cundy. Like, there's good stuff happening in it. I appreciate how wild it gets with what ultimately the big evil plan is.
Mm-hmm.
Stonehenge magic
Yeah.
in kid masks turn head bugs.
Like I said, I think it does look
Question
nice.
mark, question mark, question mark, profit.
I think it does look nice. And I do like that the anthology idea is cool. Like, they are original.
Did they
Yes.
advertise that it was not going to have Michael Myers in it? Or were people just expecting Michael Myers to show up the whole movie?
I think you can only get so much information to the public. And, it's...
Because I can understand why it would be very poorly received if, people were sitting there waiting for Michael Myers to show up.
How far into this movie can you get before you realize Michael Myers is not going to show up? Because there was a couple points towards the end where I was like, Michael Myers could pop up right here. And it would be really funny.
He comes through Stonehenge somehow
Oh, that'd be sick.
in that last moment when they throw all the things down. I don't know, man.
I was looking up pictures of this guy to try to figure out what's wrong with him. And I just looked at images and I found there's a 8x10 photo of him and that girl that you can buy on eBay. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Like an autographed one. It's just just a picture of them if you're interested in buying it.
Okay, I'm not.
And it's it just, I don't know. Why do you want this?
You know what? Maybe I am.
It just accentuates
Is it?
how terrible they are together.
Do you get the rights to the image, and can we reprint it on merch?
No and no.
Damn it. Okay, I was looking for. So this is how again.
You know what I'm getting for your birthday.
No research, but as any good person who works at a research institution knows, Wikipedia doesn't count as research. Here's how they describe that scene where the evil guy is monologuing. Cochran locks a mask-clad Daniel. I forgot his name was fucking Daniel, that's for sure. Cochran locks a mask-clad Daniel in a room. Cochran locks a mask-clad Daniel. Say that 5 times fast.
God.
Jesus. In a room, and explains his plan to resurrect ancient rituals from his native Celtic lands, sacrificing children at Samhain, the pagan celebration of the coming winter. So his plan is to resurrect rituals, not to resurrect like Irish folk monsters.
Right, I think
He just wants to bring the rituals back?
yeah, it seemed like he's just like, this was a thing we used to do. Let's bring it back and do it again.
I think if
Yeah,
we
I
do
think
it,
you're right. He just wants to get in on it.
Yeah.
if we can just show people how it works one time, I think they'll all be on board.
That's why I kind of dig it. I thought it was really funny. Like, oh, this dude just wants to kill kids because it's fun.
I'm back in. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is that. I'm not saying it is fun to kill kids. I'm just
No,
saying,
but-
no, that's totally it.
That like
He just wants to.
he just wants to. Right. Like normally there's some kind of like crazy motivation, but nah.
No, he thinks it's funny.
Yeah.
He likes it.
He likes it.
Mhm.
He's like, let's bring this back, guys. Let's do it.
But he did say that thing about how everything changes after tonight.
Well, I mean, he's killing like 1 million kids or whatever, right?
Yeah, he's like, it's going to be sick because now we're going to do it every Halloween because people are going to get so into it when I do it.
This is gonna be the thing. It's a new world. We're bringing this back.
I think this is one of those pranks you could do once. But if people wear the masks the next year, It's really on them.
It's on them now. The trucks are going to be driving around.
Yeah.
Put on your masks and watch the TV.
This mask company had so much resources. It's crazy. So many, sorry, should say resources.
He's got a whole fucking army of robots.
Because they show you how many kids are wearing these masks all around the country, not just random streets in Los Angeles neighborhoods that they could film on for free.
Man, he was really into this prank, huh? How long has he been preparing for this?
Real. That montage when they were showing different cities and just saying like, this one's Baton Rouge. And you're like, yeah, sure it is.
Yes.
You're not showing landmarks. It's just like a random
neighborhood
a random residential street.
Uh-huh.
This one's in Louisiana. This one's Missouri. This one's something on the East Coast, presumably. Everyone's doing it.
And I mean, it was all like the same time of day outside,
Yep.
right? So very clearly was not in
100%.
those places.
If the time of day had changed, there would have been a pop-up at the bottom of the screen. You know that. Anyway.
Did they account for time zones in their commercial playing? Like, is it?
Yeah. Yeah, right. Is it light out while some kids' heads are turning to bugs? Because that's not moody.
Wait, no, this doesn't make sense because it's 9 o'clock in Los Angeles, right? So if it's in Boston, it's going to be like midnight. These kids aren't going to be awake.
I'll record it. You can watch it in the morning, honey.
do they still play it?
They're not going to care about it tomorrow. They'll forget. Just give them the candy.
Right? Okay, now this is a plot hole I'm upset about now, actually.
Yeah,
This
fuck
doesn't
this
make
movie. Stonehenge magic, I am in for more than them ignoring the time zone differences and the realities of when kids go to bed.
You can't ignore that.
It's a 4-hour difference, right? 3 hours?
But you were right, 9 p.m. to midnight.
Yeah, so it would be midnight
You had
here.
it right.
No, the kids aren't going to be awake watching TV midnight.
The parents will wake them up. It's a giveaway. The sweepstakes.
You got to be up to win, yeah. So, yeah, they're just getting the greedy kids, or the greedy parents, really.
Mm-hmm. Deserved.
Letting their kids stay up till midnight on a
No,
school night.
I bought you the mask. You're going to stay up and watch this. We're going to win. Those parents are going to be happy when their kids are bugs and snakes.
Yeah. I'm still, even though I really felt like it was going to happen, I'm still surprised they kill all the children.
Yeah, it's pretty badass.
It is.
I'm surprised the guy didn't turn into like a leprechaun. And he's like, this is why I'm evil. I'm a monster.
I like that it's just because he thought it was fun.
I prefer that it's just because he thought it was fun.
He likes
but I'm
jokes.
surprised he didn't turn into a
okay.
leprechaun.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
He likes jokes. It's funny.
It's funny.
Yeah, there's no deeper meaning, which is good. That's a good thing.
Yeah, just some people. The only thing I could think of the whole time is that meme from the Spider-Man comic where he's like, you have DNA powers and you could turn people into dinosaurs. You could use this and cure cancer. And the villain goes, I don't want to cure cancer. I want to turn people into dinosaurs.
Right.
Right, yeah. Yeah, sure, I could. That didn't sound like fun to me. This does.
Bugs and snakes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can make lifelike robots very easily to do all kinds of crazy tasks and bidding, and you have magical stones. You can do anything you want. Yes, and I want to turn kids into bugs.
I also thought it was interesting because when he was doing his monologue, he said something about like making the hills run red with the blood of like children and animals. And I'm like, what's your plan for the animals though? Just got the kids covered here.
Maybe they sold collars with the little thing on it.
Silver shamrock.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Their stock probably plummeted on November 1st.
Yeah, there's no way they did well.
I don't know. Does anyone work there anymore? Seems like a pretty big company that like 7 people work at.
Is it just robots?
That's what I mean.
Yeah, I think
There's not
it's
a lot
just
of humans
robots.
there.
Maybe some of the people that were like operating the little command center are humans.
They're dead.
Well, yeah, they're dead now.
Oh, there was a lady at the reception desk, right?
She's dead. I don't know. And there's like the doctor in the medical examiner's office, but it wasn't the medical examiner.
Oh yeah,
It was
I felt
this
bad.
like
I
his
liked her.
assistant that he sort of flirts with.
Oh yeah.
And then by the end, I was worried he was also banging her because I was like, "Is this just his thing?" I don't understand.
She seemed disappointed that he wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's not gonna now.
I think he was. He said something about going out to dinner with her a couple of times or whatever.
Yeah.
I always make time for dinner with you.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, you don't.
Yeah.
What
I wish you would, though. Like, okay, lady.
What did she figure out that made her call the police?
That it was robots.
Yeah, this guy was robot.
Call the police.
Police. Doesn't she work for the police?
Yeah, she's in the medical examiner's office, right? Trying to investigate a crime.
Presumably she's in a precinct?
I don't know, but she's investigating a crime. I imagine
911.
the procedure
This
isn't
man
to
was
call
robot.
the police.
Yeah. She was looking at that weird gear and was like, "This isn't a car part; it's a robot part."
Police.
Just then she gets drilled.
The kills were very slashery. I don't know.
Yeah, they didn't show you a lot, though.
No.
Which makes it not as slashery, I guess.
I guess, yeah. Maybe more horror movie-esque, but this did not feel like a horror movie.
I liked the mood, and like I said, it does have the tone of an inevitable doom, which I appreciate.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like when they're counting down for 9 o'clock in the end.
Mm-hmm.
And you do see it's like 8:20, and you're like, what the fuck's this guy gonna do?
Yeah, he's still here.
Yeah, he's still in this fucking building.
He's going to go to that gas station because it's the nearest place with a phone. It seemed like it was really far away. It's not. He can walk there from where he crashes.
Yes.
Ay. Did he not think it's weird Ellie hadn't said anything? Because this is really his fault, if so.
No.
Because they had been together for, 40 minutes at that point.
At least, yeah.
And that lady had said 0 words.
He probably doesn't even remember what her name is.
No, he doesn't. Just that lady I had sex with twice
Maybe.
in
More?
an uncomfortable setting
Yes.
for me.
I was also
The
upset
viewer.
that she got out of the shower and then instead of putting on a towel, wrapped herself in the blanket of the bed.
Oh yeah, that was terrible.
What is going on with this lady? She's making all the worst decisions.
That was very upsetting. I
That's
forgot about
terrible.
Or she just like, I already slept with that guy. I might as well just like roll around while damp on these like horrible motel sheets.
that. Ugh.
Right?
It wasn't even the sheet; it was the blanket, like the top blanket.
Your comforter.
Yeah.
Everybody
You
knows
get out of the
it's
shower,
wicked dirty.
dripping wet, and you grab your comforter off your bed and just wrap yourself in it and lay in bed. I'm good. I'm gonna go to bed now.
Had a towel and then she put that over it or something.
She like grabbed the towel and like didn't wrap herself in it and like just covered herself so the camera couldn't see her basically, and then used it to cover herself while she ran for the comforter.
Which only makes sense if the camera exists in the room.
What is wrong with this lady?
Because you're right, she didn't use the towel to dry herself.
No,
She was just hiding.
She was just hiding behind it from you, the viewer.
to wrap
Yeah, what
herself
the
up
fuck?
in a dirty hotel blanket.
My only thought is like maybe
Yeah.
Soaking
their
wet.
window shades were open is the only thing I can think of because they're in like a first floor
Maybe.
motel room.
It is a first floor motel room. People are nosy in this town.
Maybe I'm not
Marge
certain
Gutman's face just got fucking fried.
I'm not
the
sure
next
there
room
are
over.
people in the town.
That was an awesome scene.
Oh, you think they're all robots? That was a great scene. I
A
do
lot
like
of them.
Some of them are just like old Irish weirdos.
Yeah, every single person stared at them when they drove in. I forgot about that.
I think the witch from Banshees of Inisherin was in this movie. Anyway, that movie had more of a witch than this one did.
Yes. Yeah. No one even says Season of the Witch.
Yeah, this title did not deliver
Season
on
of the Witch.
anything that you would expect in this movie, right?
The poster is
0
also
things.
misleading because it's like silhouettes of kids in costume, and then the 3 in the poster is also like a big evil face, and that face isn't of anyone in this film.
There's no witches. There's no Michael Myers. I think I probably would have been convinced I walked into the wrong theater, like watched the wrong movie.
Yeah, it's also like, oh no, there's the big evil face is under the 3. I don't know what I'm thinking of. Anyway, there's a big evil face. It's not in the movie. It's just in the sky above these children. And I think even if the movie wasn't called Halloween 3 Season of the Witch, it was just like, yeah, we're just going to do a whole different thing. Just call it Season of the Witch. That also would have been confusing.
Right, yes.
Like you said. It doesn't mean anything. Anyway, yeah, like I said, it's a great movie, and I'll watch it again.
I probably would watch it again.
Especially if I could watch it with someone.
This feels like something I would put
It sounded
on
more
around
pathetic
Halloween.
than I meant for it to.
Did.
Yeah,
Like-
I'd throw this on. It's like a
I
Halloween
would.
party.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is
That
like a
people are
very
just
good
like-
Halloween party movie.
Why is fucking Quasimodo walking around with this child he stole for like 80% of the movie? And then a kid's head turns to bugs.
You hate this poor guy.
I don't dislike him in other movies. He's good in The Fog. I like him in The Fog. I don't remember his head taking up 80% of the screen in a wide shot. Anyway,
I mean, her father
Classic.
just died, and she's like, you know what?
yeah, he's really banking on that, I think. I got a good look at your dad before he died. He's about 3 years younger than me. You need a new father figure.
As soon as she it was clear she was gonna start having sex when I was like, your dad is dead. You don't have a dad you need to disappoint. Why are you having sex with this very old man?
Where do you want to sleep, doctor? And then he says like, don't be fucking stupid on your mouth or whatever, right? Like,
It's
that's the
something.
implication.
Yes.
I hope your kids are asleep and can't hear us.
I just checked the camera. They're bugs.
They're
Yep.
bugs, yeah.
They're bugs now.
I hope your kids are bugs by now. I'm looking. I just need to know. I'm on the quotes. On this is again more than I promised I'd do. But okay, on the quotes page, I do have that monologue, which isn't what I was looking for. I was looking for if it has what he responds when she says, "Where do you want to sleep?" Yes, it does. Where do you want to sleep, Dr. Chalice? Stares at her for too long. That's a dumb question, Miss Grimbridge. Yeah, he says, that's a dumb question, Miss Grimbridge. And then completely engulfs her with his entire fucking skull.
That's the real horror in this movie.
There's at one point in New Nightmare where Freddy's face gets all rubbery and he starts to try and swallow an entire child whole.
Oh, sick.
And his head's not as big as this guy's head when he does it.
He's also trying to swallow an entire child whole with his head.
He does. He unhinges his jaw. And
Wait, how old are
I
you?
don't think... I can't remember a movie that has such explicit, like... This guy just goes to town on her nips, and it's like... so uncomfortable.
It was
God, it's
weird
the
that
least
that's all they
sensual. It's the least sensual scene I've ever watched.
Yeah.
show. Yes.
Yeah.
Depend. Maybe he gets the last TV station to stop in time.
So do you think all the kids changed the channel? Or do only, I don't know. Did he save some kids?
No.
No, none of them. They want to win that giveaway. Should I just? I have that guy's full evil monologue here. Do you want to? Because I'm trying to skim it and I can't find anything that makes sense in it. I could read it.
You can if you want. It's not going to make any sense anyway. But
You have to perform it, though.
Enjoy the Horrorthon, Doctor, and don't forget to watch the big giveaway afterwards. Why, Cochran? Why? Do I need a reason? Mr. Cuffer was right, you know. I do love a good joke, and this is the best ever, a joke on the children. But there's a better reason. You don't really know much about Halloween. You thought no further than the strange custom of having your children wear masks and go out begging for candy. Pauses. It was the start of the year in our Celtic lands, and we'd be waiting in our houses of wattles and clay. The barriers would be down, you see, between the real and the unreal, and the dead might be looking in to sit by our fires of turf. Pauses. Halloween, the festival of Samhain. The last great one took place 3,000 years ago, when the hills ran red with the blood of animals and children. The doctor. Sacrifices. The bad guy. It was part of our world, our craft, Doctor. Witchcraft, bad guy. To us, it was a way of controlling our environment. It's not so different now. It's time again. In the end, we don't decide these things, you know. The planets do. They're in alignment, and it's time again. The world's going to change tonight, Doctor. I'm glad you'll be able to watch it, and happy Halloween. So the planets are aligned, and they're going to do this. They haven't done this in 3,000 years. Doesn't mean the planets haven't been aligned in 3,000 years.
That's what I think too. Yeah.
But the planets are aligned,
so it sounds
and they're
like
going to do a thing.
there is some kind of ritual he's planning that is undescribed.
But he doesn't say, and since we're doing this, X outcome will happen that I want.
Yeah.
No.
Just the planets are aligned, so it feels like it's right.
It's just time.
No, it kind of implies that there is X outcome.
I don't know, because he said something
It
about
implies,
like this
but he
was,
doesn't define it.
He was like, "This is the way that we controlled our environment."
Yes.
No, but it's just making him feel better, right? Like if we, you know,
gonna
if you
be
do a rain
sunnier or
dance, it'll
whatever.
rain.
No. See, it implies X is going to happen. Some control is going to be exerted over something. It's going to be something's going to happen.
The Doctor didn't ask enough follow-up questions for us, the viewer at home.
No, I don't really think you need a lot of follow up because you know you don't want all the kids to turn into bugs.
He does give a few. He's like, yeah, I do think it's funny. I do want to do this. It seems like a good thing to me.
And also, I should be able to do this without a reason.
Yeah.
That should be allowed.
It's, in fact, rude for you to ask.
Don't you get it? I mean, I didn't think I'd have to explain this. Like,
Anyway,
are
the movie ends. The kids probably all die because the third channel doesn't take it off.
No, it doesn't seem like it. I assume that all the kids died.
I don't know what else there is to say.
I like that he couldn't get his ex-wife to take the mask off the kids because the ex-wife hates him.
It's awesome.
You're just jealous. I had the captions on. I don't know. Without them, I don't think I'd have been able to hear it, but I didn't have the volume up super high. Maybe you could. But in the caption, she says, "You're just jealous," and then hangs up on it.
Yep.
Yep.
Yikes. Yikes.
When that like misfire happens, was she just like stabbing it and it went off, or was did the jingle play?
I think she was
She
just
watching it
stabbing
on
it.
TV.
Yeah, I think she's just sort of messing with it. And sometimes if you just chip Stonehenge, it also laser beams.
Yeah, that's what. So there's something else like that can set this off, and it's just like messing with
Oh,
it.
you know what? There was a car going by in the background playing London Bridge by Fergie. That's also Irish magic, because that song wouldn't be out for another 24 years or so.
So you can just kind of like jostle Stonehenge, and it can shoot you.
Yeah.
Yes,
the
gotta be
laser
careful. And the spider comes out of your head. Okay, yeah, I think we covered it. All the viewers at home understand what happened. We put together a cohesive episode.
I think they had the same experience we did.
I finally cracked it. It'll be my rating system, though. On a scale of 0.5 to 5 on any scale of your choosing,
I'm always surprised.
what would you give Halloween 3 Season of the Witch?
Hold on, I gotta come up with something good.
I don't have anything particularly good, but I'm ready.
Go.
I'm gonna give it 2.5 out of 5 inappropriate sexual relationships.
Yeah.
There's got to be something real good.
There's a lot of things in this movie.
There's a lot of things. All right, this one isn't that good, but I'll go for it because it's the number makes sense. It's gonna be 2 out of 5 commercials off the air.
Okay. I have to wait till Greg's back for mine.
It's a bug.
Oh, God. He's turning to bugs. He's turning to frickin' bugs
I
again.
do really like what they just like oogie boogied.
Yeah, he went full Oogie Boogie.
Yeah,
It was crazy.
I had that thought too, especially because it was like the pumpkin mask and all the bugs
Yeah.
came out of it. I was like, oh, okay,
He went full Oogie Boogie.
all right, I'm on board with that.
Mine is 3.5. How come every time it's Halloween, my child's head turns into bugs and snakes? It's silver shamrock. Out of 5.
Oh God.
And you have to have a deep knowledge of the lyrics to Fergie's London Bridge for that joke to land, but it will for everyone because everyone knows that song.
Yes.
I will say I did like the movie.
I had fun with it.
I had a fun time watching it.
I had a fun time watching it, being like, I'm really excited to talk about this because I think that's going to be more fun
Yes.
than watching it. It is pretty boring for most of it.
It's funny, and I don't think it's supposed to be.
Correct and no.
Right. So I think like I really liked it, but this movie was not at all what it intended to be, so I can understand why it did not do well.
Well said.
Yeah.
It is not what it intended to be.
No. It's good for other reasons, though.
Yeah. This month's question, threading all the episodes together. What's a movie that you love that you think is misunderstood? Maybe other people are shocked that you love it. They think it's terrible. You can go favorite bad movie, whatever makes sense to you. Something you get a lot of enjoyment out of that others might just think is bad.
Ooh.
I mean, I've talked about this a lot. Should I come up with a different one?
No, just say it.
It's Single All the Way.
Sing all the way.
Yeah.
You have talked about that.
I've talked about it a lot. I'll see
You
if I can
just
think of a
can't
different
stop
one.
talking about it.
You keep asking me about it.
Yeah, I try to throw out a new one every episode. One I haven't done yet because there hasn't been a Christmas theme. I'll go with Jingle All the Way.
Oh, okay.
The Arnold Schwarzenegger Sinbad movie.
Some people like that.
Yeah, a lot of people don't, and it's not very good. And a lot of people do crimes, and only the black guy gets arrested at the end, but it's pretty good.
Oh, I feel like I should have a lot.
Phil Harbin's in it, so
I
it
think
can't be that bad.
Christmas movies are allowed to be bad.
Yeah,
You know?
it's a
Yeah.
it's a fertile ground for bad movies that are enjoyable.
Right. Yeah.
Hokey, they're just hokey.
Mm.
A lot of horror falls into that category too. So
Wife, what are mine?
Red Dawn.
Everyone likes Red Dawn.
You haven't watched that in years though.
I haven't watched that one in a long time. It's a good movie. No, people like that movie.
It's a movie-
They re-released it.
That was bad.
Yeah, but I mean, it was good. The original was good enough that they made a new one.
How about movies that you like that Ben hates?
We
Forrest
almost
Gump.
didn't. We almost yeah. I stepped on where you were saying was Forrest Gump. We almost did 1994 month for next month. We're doing 1999 month instead. But we could have done Forrest Gump and Pulp Fiction, which I think was supposed to be one of the first 5 episodes we ever did on the podcast.
That was supposed to be us.
Yeah, you guys had to reschedule. We're still looking for a date.
Yeah. We'll get it on the calendar.
Yeah,
I like Forrest Gump. I think a lot of people like Forrest Gump.
Yeah,
though.
yeah, that's just a Ben thing, I think.
it won Best Picture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I
That's what I mean. That's not a bad movie. That's just a movie that Ben doesn't like.
That's a good pick for that category.
I don't know if I got anything else. I feel like I should have a bunch of these, but nothing comes to the top of my head.
I mean, Prometheus.
I like Prometheus a lot.
Everyone I know loves Prometheus, but it got not super great audience reception. There was a lot of critics that liked it at the time too, so it's maybe not the best scion for this month, but
I feel like I've had to defend myself about liking the Babadook against a lot of people. I don't know if that's
yeah,
No, people like the Babadook.
just anti-Australian fervor. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, Her. I really liked Her, and everybody else hated it.
I did not like her.
It was good.
Yeah. I mean, it did get nominated for Best Picture, though, so I think,
People liked it. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and it's the last movie Spike Jonze made. He hasn't made a movie in like since then, whenever that was 10 years ago.
With Prometheus, were people just expecting Alien?
Yeah,
Okay, that makes sense.
and it's not.
It's not the same vibe.
No, it's different.
Yeah.
It's a lot about God. There's a lot of God going on in that one and creation.
And then they decided to like halfway go back to Alien, what Alien Covenant it seemed like.
Yeah, but still God in creation and why are we here? But also we heard you. We'll put more xenomorphs in this one.
Yeah.
There's people having sex in a shower. They get killed by an alien.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah. I'd still rather have that sex than the sex this guy had. That makes sense.
Yeah. No, you're good. You're in the clear there. I agree.
Yeah.
I think you just hate that it's this guy.
I don't know, man. This man, I didn't like looking at. I didn't enjoy it. He's good in the fog.
This is not the fog.
He's good in the fog. I don't know.
You better hope he doesn't listen to this. He's 88 years old, but he's going to come find you.
Yeah, I mean, I'll see him coming over the horizon. Like, I'll see the top of his head beyond the mountains as he approaches.
Oh, man.
And he goes swimming, displaces half the fucking ocean. Cure for rising ocean tides. Venice is saved. This man went swimming in California. He's not fat. He's just got a pretty large head. I don't know if we've made that point. You can find our stuff on Linktree, linktr.ee/late to the movies. Thanks, Ray and Greg, for being on this one.
Anytime.
The schedule's gotten wacky, y'all. But next month, whenever it happens, hopefully in August, will be 1999. We're going to party like it's 1999.
Ooh, uh-huh.
I just hope the file isn't too large. We talked about this guy's head a lot. I don't know if it's going to fit on the server.
It's going to be huge.
It's not, it's like, it's kind of big. You know? It's just a little bit bigger than normal.
I don't know I don't think that's what it is. I don't know.
It's just weird. He just looks off.
He does. Yes. Something is wrong, but every time I look at the picture to figure out what it is, I'm like, no, it's not that. It's not that either, and I don't know what it is.
I can't put my finger on it.
The sum of the parts is not correct.
I don't know.
Halloween more than I thought I wanted to say.
I think I already ended the episode, so just in case I didn't, thanks, and we'll see you next time.
Anytime. See ya.
Bye.